If you are someone like me who hates doing these weekly or monthly plans where you have to block each hour of your day because the idea of it makes you stressed and feel overwhelmed and stuck because there is no element of chaos and flexibility in your day, I got you, because in today's podcast I will talk about how can you be productive without having to time block each hour of the day and have that flexibility in your day that makes you want to create and get things done because there is no rigid structure that you need to follow. So my first tip is to write down your goals for the week on a journal or on your notes app, because this helps you to not feel all over the place and stressed throughout the week because you don't know what are you going to do for that week. And even it helps you to break down your biggest goals that seem overwhelming and hard into small steps that you can do in your week. And even what I love about writing down my weekly goals on a journal is that I can edit them throughout the week by removing or adding goals depending on how the week is going or depending on the information that I collected throughout the week. And let me give you an example so you can understand more of what I'm talking about. Let's say one of the goals of the week is improving Japanese, and I decided that I want to watch comprehensible input videos that I downloaded and to memorize vocabulary. But throughout the week, I discovered by watching a video that only memorizing vocabulary without using it is not effective and you won't remember them. So I decided to change the direction of my learning, and I decided to make phrases out of the vocabulary that I learned so I can remember them and practice making phrases and getting over that fear of it. And let me give you another example to understand more. Let's say I want to study accounting for this week, and then I discovered throughout the week that I'm actually good at it and I understood everything we studied, which is, by the way, a rare occasion. So I decided to remove it and to focus more on the king of hell, statistics, because I learned the new formulas in class and I didn't fully understand them. And I know this seems a lot of work, but trust me, it doesn't take that much of time. It only takes 5 minutes or less. The second tip is to make a to-do list before you sleep while looking at your weekly goals so you're not gonna forget them. And I love to-do lists so much because they are more realistic in a way that you can make your daily plan based on what you've achieved, not achieved in the past few days, and also from the data you collected, and from that you decide what you need to do next and what are the changes that you need to do. And what I love about this method is that it takes into consideration if something unexpected happened during your day that made you not finish the tasks that you had to do, or if there is something unexpected that you have to do in the next day, like going to school because your teacher decided to add extra hours, or going to a doctor because you got sick, etc., etc. Because in this club, we do not underestimate the power of what can happen in a day that can make you change the plan of your week or even the steps you're going to take to achieve a goal. And let's say, for example, you read a book or you listened to a podcast that was so informative and you learned so many things from it that made you change your perspective about a certain topic and improve your plan with the current information you have. And in this situation, a to-do list is a great tool that comes in handy to track your progress and growth closely and accurately. And even you can add an option in your to-do list where if something unexpected happened throughout your day, you can remove it or postpone the task for another day. And let me give you an example. One day I planned to study Japanese and Turkish, read a book, exercise, and study for uni. But I got a text from our uni group chat telling us that one of our teachers decided to teach us for 2 hours that day because he was absent. So I had to go to uni and edit my to-do list by removing one step from my Japanese study plan and shorten the hours that were dedicated to reading and studying and postpone some tasks to another day. And since we're talking about unexpected things happening, I have a question for the people who make these monthly, weekly plans where they time block every single day. How do you deal with the unexpected situations or when you change a goal or steps that will get you to that goal? Do you start all over or do you just make some changes? And also, what do you do about the tasks that you didn't do or when you have a day slump? Do you change your whole monthly or weekly plan? Because I genuinely do not understand how someone can feel in control about their week or their month where the world is full of unexpected things that can happen and can change the direction of your day or your week or even your life. The next step is having a minimum and a maximum time for a task by asking yourself, what is the bare minimum time that I have to spend for this task, and write it down. And also ask yourself, what if this task ended up taking more time than it should be? What is the extra time that it can take before I can move on to another task? Because this method helps you to be more intentional about the tasks that you add in your to-do list. So you won't end up adding a lot of tasks where you don't do half of them because you didn't do an estimation of the time that it will take you to do the task, and you start feeling overwhelmed during the day because you have a lot of things to do that require a great amount of time. So you end up not giving a huge amount of tasks the focus they require, and you feel tired and you start procrastinating. So it is better to focus on few things and work on them and remove the unnecessary tasks. And even it helps you to avoid that frustration of, oh, I can't believe that this took me longer than expected, and you feel all over the place and you start panicking. And let me give you again another example. Let's say I decided to learn Excel and I decided to dedicate a minimum 1 hour for it, and for the maximum time that I can spend on it is 2 hours, which means an extra 1 hour, just in case if the Wi-Fi decided to get on my nerve, or if I didn't understand something and I want to dedicate 1 more hour or less to it before moving on to another task. The next tip is have little list of the things you can do when you have free time after finishing the tasks. And it doesn't have to be something productive. It can be watching a movie or drawing, dedicating some time to cooking, or start learning that language that you always wanted to learn, reading, writing, etc., etc. And try to add to this list all the stuff that you don't usually find time to do, so when you have free time you can choose from that list what activity to do instead of wasting your time scrolling on social media because you don't know what to do, and you're like, oh, let me kill some time by scrolling. And this is not the vibe, because that free time needs to be dedicated to things that makes you happy or on trying new things, because this helps you to relax and it increases your happiness and even your productivity, and it prevents you from getting burned out fast because you're not just working all the time. And even there is this misconception that to be productive is to work all the time and have no breaks and no life. And that's not true, because you need to give space for your brain to switch off from work and do something else that can inspire you and make you look forward to explore these passions and have moments of joy while doing them and discovering new sides of yourself and be creative. And I personally do that by having some time for reading a book, learning a language, even if it's just for 5 minutes or 10. I make sure to do that because I know having some time for these activities will reduce my stress and improve my mood and will prevent me from getting bored and hating my life because the only thing that I do is work. And please do not ignore having hobbies and setting time to relax. The final tip is to reflect for 15 minutes on what you've done in your week to see the progress you've made, and also to ask yourself what are the things you need to dedicate more time to, what are the things you didn't do, and why. Because this helps you to see the overall picture of what you've done and achieved in your week, even if it's small, because it motivates you and also it helps you to take steps to do something about the goal that scares you and see what you can do about it. Or why are you procrastinating working on this goal? And answering these questions will help you to make a plan for the next week. I hope this video was helpful and that you learned something new. And if you are someone like me who loves having flexible schedule, do you have any other tips to add? And also let me know in the comments section what is your takeaway from this video and how do you plan your week.